we were both muted because of the new settings. Hi, everybody.
For how savvy we are, how does this program derail us?
I don't know, but it's
this
really
is our 40th episode. It's not like it's new to us.
Or all the 8,024 days of quickies that you've done.
Right?
Oh, it's so funny. So when we first popped on, everybody, Marley went to hit live and put up a screen we've never seen before. And so then at one point she goes, "Just be quiet." I'm like, "Why can't I do that now?" So that's why she muted us both. Just be quiet.
Yeah. Sorry. I was just trying to put the information for the idea Joey had. I don't know if you saw the email this weekend. Joey was like, "Mom, you should reward," because I had talked to him a little about it, and he was like, "You should reward the people who are referring people to the turkey trot." And I was like, "That's a great idea. I just couldn't figure out how to do it." And I figured out how to do it by using a coupon code that's not real. It's a code that if somebody uses it, then I can have them tagged a certain way. So then I'm able to track.
Right.
But so I'll just tell you guys now. So if you guys refer somebody to turkey
they didn't see it.
and they go in and they buy VIP, that's the trick. If they buy VIP and they use the code, I think it's trot 25 VIP, all one word, TROT 25 VIP, then and they bought VIP, they will get an email that says, "Hey, I see you use the referral code. Who referred you? If they give us your name, you get a free pattern." If you get 3 people to do that, then you don't only get 3 free patterns. You also get a free item from the Marley Birdhouse. The caveat here, you can't use it on your own. Like you can't use it on your own VIP. It has to be somebody else. But anyways, I was like, okay, that's cool. So
let's repeat.
Yes.
All of the things that you just said so that we all understand.
So
if you have a friend who wants to do turkey trot with us, you type in trot VIP 2025 where?
No, trot 25 VIP in the coupon code at checkout.
Okay, and then you say like who's referred you.
Yeah, so they get an email that automates an email that goes out, "Hey, I see you use this code. So happy you're joining us. Can you tell us who referred you? And if you have their email address, even better. And then we can connect."
Right. So don't do it for yourself because then
it doesn't count.
We know. So the person that referred you gets a free pattern.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. And then now that you're part of it, you could become a referrer to somebody. I know it seems confusing. It's essentially, hey, if you're going to refer somebody, if they say Marley sent me, then great, you get a free pattern. So kind of how that works.
So read the email.
I'm looking in my email to find it so I could just copy it. It's just not working. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Mondays with Marley. It is Monday. We are full on Monday.
Yeah, without a doubt. Today's a Monday. Yeah. So how was your weekend? Obviously, Joey was home, which is nice.
Joey was home. Caden was home. Caden brought Emily home. So I had the whole crew here.
You had a full house.
Which was awesome. Like having them all here and just, it's just nice to see them. They knew I had to knit all weekend because I was knitting on turkey.
So they can do like a show in front of you. Like they're, 5. They can put on a little show.
Yeah.
I'll just sit here and you do that thing. Let me watch you.
Amongst yourselves. Caden wanted to go to the casino with everybody. And I was like, look, the only way I'll go is if you can get your sister to go. I didn't think Alora would go. And Alora was like, well, I'll go if Hannah goes. So then Hannah was like, well, Hannah's like, yeah, I'm game because Hannah's amazing. And so we all went for an hour or so to the casino, just, whatever, let him do his thing.
John really likes going to the casino.
I feel like very lucky. He got my luck.
He really wants you to like go every time he comes.
Yeah, he does. So when he was in Colorado, I tell you, he won $2,500.
Maybe he didn't. I can't
remember. He's very lucky. He didn't get lucky this trip, but like John and I went,
Always
and
happens that way.
like we split $100. It's like, okay, what are we gonna do? And it was cool. And we went to dinner afterwards to a restaurant that I really like. But part of the reason I liked it is because I really liked their cheese curds and their aioli sauce. And they changed their cheese curds. Like they don't even look like cheese curds anymore. They look like square blocks of they are not good. They are not. I sent them back. They were so bad. Who sends back cheese? I did. Like I sent back cheese. I was like, no, these are not it. And so I looked at John. I'm like, well, we won't be coming back here anymore. I was like, oh, wah wah. And so, anyways, came back home. Then I knit some more. So just had a little bit of a break with them. And then on Sunday, watched a little football with them a little bit, but then they left fairly early because Emily had to get home to see some family. But anyways, it was a nice, relaxing weekend. It was good.
Which is always nice.
Right? I didn't work out on Sunday because we moved it to Monday. We'll be going between Sundays and Mondays every now and again. So like I worked out today. But yeah, it was good. How about you? Because you were not so hot this weekend.
No, I feel like I had like walking pneumonia, though I don't because that doesn't last for 2 days. I don't know. It was just like all of the chest congestion, but I didn't have anything else. Like usually when I'm sick, like it's the whole thing. I'm getting the headache, I'm getting the fever, I'm getting the nose congestion, the whole thing. I just had the chest congestion and like body aches, and now it's gone. I don't know. I felt really bad for 2 days, and we always have a construction project. Let's be honest. There's always something wrong. It's a house. Do you see the TikTok guy? I love him. Where like he always starts off with like, he's like a younger dad, and he always starts off with like, F this house. Like,
no, I don't watch TikTok, so I don't know.
Oh, he's on Reels. He's on Instagram. He's everywhere.
Okay.
He's hysterically funny. And I was like, I feel the exact same way about my house. Any house I own, like whatever it is, whatever I do, something is always breaking. There's always something.
Got it.
So this one was a big one, which you know about. Like we had a leak in our ceiling, and our kitchen, part of like our bay window kitchen ceiling fell a long time ago. I put up a temporary hold until we fixed the roof. And I just never got around to fixing the hole because I'm lazy and I had a temporary roof on there. Who cares?
Right.
And Mark was like, we have friends coming this weekend coming up. And he's like, I really would like that like fixed. And I was like, yeah, me too. So he was like, I'll do this. Like we're both handy. So I'm like, okay. Because I had turkey trot to do and I didn't feel good. Well, it was the most Marley thing I've ever seen. Like he was like gathering things. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, what are you getting? Like, we just need to take that thing off and put the drywall up. And so he kept like gathering stuff, and he was like not coming back. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So I just started working like in the typical like marriage, like he was reorganizing the shed because in his mind that needed to be done so that he could fix the hole in the roof.
This is why, see, you might not say you love me, but this is why you love me, because not because I remind you of him, because you love him and you love people like him. So you love me.
Yeah. It's very funny when like the similarities between the two of you, and you're like, what is happening? Like Mark on our walk this morning told me he bought another pair of shoes. And I was like, what do you need that for? Like, because these look like this. And I'm like, oh. I felt like I should text John, like, oh my God. Need to take away his credit card.
You definitely could commiserate for sure.
Yeah.
You know what I did do this weekend though?
Yeah.
I started my sourdough starter. Just saying.
Exciting.
I started it. So I am not even 24 hours in. I set a timer on my phone for 24 hours. So I know when I have to go dump out half and feed it again. Cause I'm literally starting it from start. Right.
Yeah.
If it makes sense. Like I didn't start with a starter. Like it's
Right.
water and flour, you know?
Right.
And
Right.
so I'm like, all right, I'm going to try this because I'm following this girl. Her name is Emily. I think her name is Emily on Instagram. I think she's on TikTok and I know she's on Facebook and stuff. But I've been following her for like a year and a half now because I think she's interesting and I like her. And she's a little ADHD, not a little, she's ADHD too. And like there are similarities in her style that are mine. And I was like, I even wrote her a message. Y'all, I don't write people messages, like people I don't know. It's very, very rare. Like I wrote Penny Reed a message and I didn't know her, right? I was like, hey,
Right.
you know, and it's very rare. I write a message, but I wrote her a message on Instagram and I was like, okay, girl, you got me. I was like, the minute you did this whole starter series where it was like, it's not that serious. You don't have to do this, that, and the other, you know, you don't have to wait. Like it is, it spoke to me all the way through. Right.
Right.
And I said, I even wrote, I was like, all of that just really resonated with me that it doesn't have to be so precise. And in parentheses, I was like, which is comical considering I write patterns for a living and they need to be precise. But that's honestly, that's why I have you and Shiri, because you guys make my roundabouts into the precision that it needs to be, right? Because I'm just just go with it. And so I don't know.
I am not like that. There is no go with the flow in my world.
Oh yeah, I'm totally a go with the flow. Like it'll all work out. Like, you know, this doesn't look good. We're changing this up. Anyways, I'm hoping, I mean, there's that little small part of me that's like, I hope she reads it and like will write me back, be like, you know, good luck. Even if it's just good luck, like I'd be excited.
Even if she reads it and it's a positive.
Yeah.
Because frankly, she doesn't need to respond, but like if it makes her smile that day,
yeah,
because you know how much comments that are positive comments make you smile.
That was the whole other reason I sent it, because there are so many nasty people that leave comments on her. She's a bigger girl and people are like, lay off the bread. And then she'll put the comment up as she's slicing herself this really thick piece of sourdough and slathering it with butter and sprinkling it with salt and then like crunching into it. And I'm just like, oh yeah, yes, we could be friends. I know we could be friends. Like we would just be like this, right? And she doesn't knit or crochet yet that I can tell. But I was like, if you're interested, I got you. Like you teach me sourdough, I'll teach you knitting and crochet. Like I got this. But she lives in California. That's okay. It's a plane drive, flight away. But I did. I started my sourdough, and to which started me on my sourdough journey of ordering all the things. So I went to her Amazon store because of course I'm going to support her. And I got like the containers that she uses and the wood dowel thing that she, like all the things, right? And John's just like, hey, honey.
Right. What?
And I'm just like, dude, I don't want to need it and not have it and then have to wait to get it. Like I need the things.
Yeah. And he's like,
okay.
Wonderful.
I'm
just imagining him like curled up in the corner, like rocking back and forth. Like, okay.
He was on the edge of the couch, just like ignore her. Yeah. And then I was like, you know, because you start looking at that stuff on Facebook and it feeds you everything. So I'm getting all of these great recipes. And I'm like, look what we can make and look what we can make. And he's like, yep, that looks good, babe. That looks good. It's just like, all right. Anyways. So yeah, I did. I started my sourdough starter. I'm very excited about it.
Imagine between you and Allie when you go down a hyperfixation, the amount of stuff that's in your house of like, I am all in on this. And then 2 months later, you're like, nope, I'm all done.
There's a reason why I never got into weaving. Like, because if I had bought myself a loom or a spinning wheel, all would have been lost. It's actually the same reason I never got into scrapbooking or stamping. And it's not because I did not want to. It's because I know myself and it would have taken over my life.
Yeah, it would have been everything.
It would have been and I was like, I can't do it. Yeah. That's why I didn't do it. Anyways, yeah.
So funny.
So I did all that. All right, Miss Robin, you have a whole plan of what you want to talk about today.
Yeah. So
let's talk.
As all of you know, next week starts Turkey Trot. If you don't know what Turkey Trot is, check out the website. Anyway, so this week is Gauge Week, which is everybody's least favorite thing in the entire world. I'm just going to say it. Everybody hates doing gauge. And not that we are very much not saying that you have to get your gauge this week. There's no race here. But if you would like some time, and if you are, somebody who likes to think ahead, we're going to give you gauge info. You can start swatching with your yarn that you have, and you'll still have time to change your yarn if it comes to that. Obviously, if you're using the what's it called, the Universal Yarn Deluxe Worsted, you don't have to change your yarn. I'm just talking about like if you are substituting something, it might not work for you. You might not be able to get gauge, and so you'll still have time. But just so that everybody hears me, I was going to say that again. You do not need to do gauge this week. We're just giving it to you in case you want to.
Because we know there are some people who are changing out the yarns, like they're using a different yarn, and we want to make sure that they have time to get different yarn if that yarn's just not going to work out.
Sometimes it just doesn't work out for you. I'm going to be honest.
Sometimes. And so with the gauge, though, especially for the knitters specifically, like gauge is going to come out tomorrow in the VIP and in the free version. But I can't just give you gauge and not show you how to do a cable, right? Like I have to do, how are you going to do a cable? Because then you have to do a gauge swatch with a cable. So there's more than just, hey, here's the numbers, here's the pattern. Because you guys know we're running this through like it's a beginner pattern. We have people who have literally picked up the needles or the hook a week ago attempting this, which I am all for, actually, especially for the hat. Like I think if you can knit and purl, you can do this hat. You could absolutely do this hat. I know it looks really confusing, but you could do it. Just be patient with yourself. I'll let you speak to the crochet side.
Crocheters, we are not doing a beginner pattern. It's because like learning how to do the color work is one thing. This body stitch is really easy, but you're always decreasing every row. So that's a lot for a brand new beginner to know. It's like, oh, I have a special stitch and I got to do this. And I have to learn how to read a pattern and how to read a diagram. That's a lot going on. Now, I'm just saying, depends on what kind of learner you are. I was the kind of learner who only liked to do advanced patterns when I began because beginner patterns bored me. I had no interest in them. So it all depends on like how you are. That's really funny. Yeah. You don't want me to go down there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But just like Marley was saying, the gauge pattern that we're giving you will not be just 15 stitches for 4 inches. It could be 15 stitches in the stitch pattern, because what happens, whether you're doing stockinette or double crochets, whatever you're doing, whenever you add in a special stitch, so like for the knitters, it's the cable. For us, if you're doing the cowl, it's like the wrapped stitch. If you're doing the ruana, it's the post stitches. Whenever you're doing that, your tension changes. So it won't be just back and forth. You're going to get a different tension. And you need to do your swatch in whatever the main thing is, whatever it is. So
you have to do your swatch with the yarn you're going to use for your project and the hook or the needles you're going to use for your project. I know that seems silly, but like you could go from a metal needle to a bamboo needle and it could change your gauge. You could use a different color of the same yarn. Sometimes it'll change gauge. Like you have to use the same yarn.
You have to use what you're using. Okay. So here's my whole gauge thing. Obviously it's going to come out. I'm making videos. And so if you watch it, you'll see it again. You'll hear me say this again. But this is the thing that I wanted to talk about with gauge, is that the most important things to know. For this project in particular, I have a gauge swatch that you're going to make. So it's not like part of the pattern. It's just you'll make a little swatch, and then if it measures what I tell you to, you got gauge. If it is bigger, which is gonna happen, if you get bigger, here's what you need to know. The most important things. If your swatch is bigger, that means that your project will be bigger. Okay. And when I say like the actual physical, like the physical little swatch I'm going to make you do, if it's bigger, like this one, this will be a bigger cowl. It will also use more yarn. And I think that's the part that like messes with your brain, because you're like, but it's the same amount of stitches. But because we're doing it, you're physically making a bigger area. That means to get to that area wasn't a whole bunch of like air. It was actual yarn. So it will use more yarn. So that's like one of the most important caveats with gauge. If your gauge is bigger, you will use more yarn, which means that the yarn amounts that we gave you might not work for you, which stresses me out because I always want to make sure people have enough. And that goes for knitters or crocheters. It doesn't matter. If it's bigger, it will use more yarn.
So another way to think of that is if your stitches are larger, not even just going by your gauge swatch, if your stitches are bigger than what they should be. So that means if you're supposed to get 5 stitches to the inch and you're getting 4, that means your stitches are bigger. I know it seems odd because your number is smaller, but it's because your stitches are bigger. So your stitches are too big, which means your hook is too big, which means you need to go down a hook size to get your stitches smaller to be more stitches per inch.
Right.
Does that make sense, you guys? Same thing for knitters. If you're supposed to get 5 stitches per inch and you're getting 4, your needles are too big because your stitches are too big. You need them to be smaller so you can get 5 of them instead of just 4, right?
Right. And then with that, if you're going the opposite direction, if your swatch is too small, so yes, you're going to use less yarn, your project's going to be smaller. But here's the stinker with that is it's more dense. That means there's less air, it's more dense. So especially with like the cowl, where you can see how it drapes on Marley, it won't drape like that. It'll be what we all worry about crochet things. It'll be like a suit of armor because it needs to be looser. Now, all of this to say, I don't care what your gauge is. It's a cowl. Like if your cowl is bigger than my cowl, I don't care as long as you enjoy how it looks and how it feels. I think that's the hardest thing because like, yes, obviously it's bigger. It could use more yarn, but it's not that it's bad. It's just bigger. That's okay. It's a cowl. No one's going to be like, oh, well, your cowl was 2 inches bigger than the other one. Like no one's going to look and see that. With the hat though, if your gauge is much bigger, you're making a whole nother size. Like it's really easy to just slightly be off on your gauge with a hat because there's only so many stitches and then you have this gigantic hat.
And the big thing about the hat is it is not a blocked gauge, which is not typical of gauges given. And the reason is, you guys look at it here. Look how much I could block this, right? Like that's astronomical. I want this to fit like ribbing. Have you guys ever had like a ribbed sweater before and you pull it out and you're like, that's not going to fit anybody because it's like this big, but you put it on your body and it has that negative, it fits around your body, but it's tight. That's what we want for the hat. So you'll see the hat is an unblocked gauge. Like it's literally right off your needles. What does it measure, right? But that's different if you're going to end up making the Crossroads cardigan or the Wayfair pullover. Those are blocked gauges. Those are slightly blocked gauges. So like this is my hat. Here's my slightly blocked gauge. It's significantly bigger than the hat. So the two are different, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, they're using the same yarn and same needles. It's just the one is a blocked gauge and one is an unblocked.
One is blocked, one is not.
It's all these little like caveats. So with that to say, like if you're making the Ruana, again, it's not like a measured garment, but if you go, because there's so many stitches on it, if you, let's say that it's 15 stitches for 4 inches of the Ruana. And you got 14. That's how it's going to translate down. You could have a garment that's 5 inches bigger than what I planned your schematic. So when you're doing the Ruana, you really want to get closer, even though the Ruana is just a rectangle and 2 rectangles. It's a big box on you, but you don't want it to like be off your fingertips or something like that. Like you don't want it to be like this massive thing. The other thing with that I will say is the bigger it is, the heavier it is, and it's already a big piece. And so crochet likes to creep down, and I don't have it next to me. It's over there. The post stitches that I use in the main body help bring it up like suspenders, like those little arrows we were showing you. But there's only so much they're going to do. There's only so much they can do. So gauge is a little bit more important with the Ruana. I'm not going to say that it's like super important. When it comes to the cardigan and the pullover, if you bought those for knit, it's super important because that's a much more fitted garment than mine. And so it's much more important. Okay. So those are like the basic gauge tips and tricks to help you if you don't have it. There's a lot of things. So Marley mentioned one thing for crocheters or knitters. If you're bigger, if your physical swatch is bigger, the first thing always to do is to go down a hook size, go down a needle size, and do it again. Also, please, I always see it. People will do one row and match and check their gauge. You have to do the whole thing because whatever happens at the foundation, it could be bigger, it could be wider. It doesn't like even out until you're up higher. And look, my swatch, it's only like 4 inches by 4 inches and not big. It's not a lot of work to do. So just go ahead, just do the whole thing. So yeah, if it's bigger, go down a hook or go down a needle. If it's smaller, go up one. That's like the first tip. Then after that, if let's say you are using the Premier Everyday that we said, and I've mentioned on here that the worsted is too big for crochet. You need to use the DK weight. The DK weight, you'll be able to get your gauge much easier. The knitters, you can get your gauge with the worsted. Welcome to knitting crochet. We act differently. But that's why we had to have 2. When you're using this, you want to see the other things you want to check out are like the density, the feel of it. If it's not a fabric that looks like it would work, try a different yarn. And that's where the stinky part happens. Is like, I like to say that like you want to try all your different hooks. So if like what Marley said in the beginning, if you were using like a metal hook, you could try a wood hook, you try a bamboo hook, try a different material first before trying another yarn. Like I always like to try the material of my hook or my needle before trying, because especially when you're knitting, you have all the loops on the hook, all the loops on the needle, and the friction will hold differently when you're doing it. So it can be a totally different tension. You could be using the same needles, just a different material, a wood versus a metal, and get a different gauge. So play with the tools before you play with the yarn. Play with the tools before you play with the yarn. Okay, let's talk yarn now. So Marley, you've said it before, but please say it again. Why do you recommend the wool?
So because of these very aspects of the cables, I want to make sure that these stitches pop off of your fabric. Wool has scales built into it. That's why wool will felt together and become like a solid unit if it is agitated and you add water and like maybe a little soap to it. You don't even need soap. You could add spit to it and you could rub it together and it will felt together. It's because of the little scales on it. They want to mesh together. Think of like are they called kookaburras or like Velcro? Like they want to stick together, right? So because of that, the scales and everything, they really help texture like this pop off the fabric. And I wanted all of these cables to really be pronounced and really live like you could see those things. I also love working with wool. It's warm, but the reason I chose non-superwash wool, because superwash wool has those scales removed. I wanted the texture. I wanted the rich texture of the wool. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So if you use acrylic, because if you're like me and you have to use acrylic, the difference is your cables will not pop off like Marley's does. So there might be a bit more swatching you need to do to get the same kind of material that like you can see in the pictures that she has. Can you do it? Yes, of course you can do it. It's just, it might take you a little bit longer. It could be a game of that. You'll definitely want to use wood. If you're using acrylic, it'll help that like tension. It'll help grab them instead of them all like sliding off. It could be that. Crocheters, the acrylic versus wool going on here. You can absolutely use acrylic for the cowl. I would use, you're going to have it so much easier on yourself to get gauge if you're using the DK weight. I mean, 100% easier. With me, it was like exactly the same. I could use the same needle, the same hook. Nothing was different. I could get the exact same with the DK. But let's say you just are like, listen, I got to use worsted. It's what I have. Fine. I'm totally fine with that. But the only thing I would say is just don't try to get my gauge. Go up, because if you use my hook size, it's going to be so dense. Like it's going to like be too tight. It's not going to move around for you. With my stuff, the acrylic will be heavier because the wool is a very light. And so like the Ruana will be heavier. It'll just creep down more. I will also say with the wool, the biggest thing with the wool, all of mine are blocked gauges and the wool grows. So what do we mean by blocked, Marley? What are we talking about when we say a blocked gauge?
So, okay, here. Can you guys all see me? So you see this, right? This is unblocked. That means this has not been, I did not wash this. I did like this right off the needles. This is what it looks like. Okay. This swatch has a different cable right here because this was only 2 stitches and I changed it to 3. But this used to be all crunched up like this. Okay. See how this, I can stretch this out. Okay. But I washed it and I pinned it out to stretch out the stitches so that they laid flat. Like they're not overly open. They're just laid flat. And you can see it's so much bigger. So like you could like here, let's line this up. So this cable would have been this one. You can, it's just way bigger. It's just way bigger. And so this is what happens. It opens up, right? Just like if you guys were to take ribbing on something and you stretch it apart, you're opening it up. And because you're dealing with a wool, when you wash and block something, when you open this up and it dries, it stays that way. The only way to get that for acrylic is if you kill it. Acrylic has a lot of memory and wants to go back to where it was, which is one good thing about using acrylic with cables is it will come back and hold and bounce, which is really good. Like I would not use a cotton with cables. It's just it'd be so heavy.
Plus your hands are not going to be happy.
Yeah.
Your hands
but
are going to
be looks really good. And one of the number one questions I always get is, well, do I have to reblock it every time I wash it? Yes. Like, yeah, with the sweaters, like if you're going to wash a sweater, you're going to block it out so it's the same size you want it to be, but you're not going to wash your sweater every time. You know what I mean?
I don't wash my sweaters all
No,
the time.
I don't wash I wash my sweaters like once a season unless I get something on them. But yeah, like just like if you were to iron a shirt, like you put it in the wash, comes out, it's wrinkly, you're going to iron it, right? We're not ironing our sweaters, but we're laying them out to pin them so they're the right size and they dry, and yeah, you're done. It's not some huge task. Like it's fine. So this is unblocked, blocked. They just look significantly different.
They expand. So when it comes to crocheters, the same thing holds true. All of the swatches I'm giving you are all blocked. And with the wool, it just expands out so much that you can't do one little line or like 3 rows and measure it. It will not get you what you want, because unless you are blocking it. And in this case, just to make it easier, I'll just fill a basin with cold water, stick your swatch in there, then use a towel to, press out the water and lay it down. You don't have to use a wool wash and go through the whole thing. We'll show you how to do it for like the finishing bits. But just for your swatch, you just need to dunk it in cold water, right, and then watch it go. Oh, yeah. Hey, Mom, I'm big now.
Well, because we talked about those scales too. Like imagine, okay, you guys wash your hair, right? You have dirty hair and clean hair. You know how your hair acts differently after it's been washed and after it's been dirty a few days, right? Like your hair could be a little bit more bouncy, a little bit more lively, a little bit more after you wash it. Same thing happens with the wool. It becomes alive. It has like this, it's called a bloom. It allows the fibers to bloom and lift up, and it looks really good.
Now, acrylic doesn't do that. It's not going to grow as much. Yeah. I like steam blocking for my acrylic. It's my favorite way of doing it. But you can use whatever you want. It just doesn't grow as much. So you're going to have a very different, but again, with your doing the gauge swatch, doing these swatches, you get to play with, how am I going to wash this and clean this and take care of this finished project? Right. You get to do it on a little piece of nothing, instead of like finishing your whole thing and be like, uh-oh, now what do? I don't want to screw this up. Well,
and that is really important, especially for the crocheters, because you guys are using color work. So this is a great opportunity for you to make sure that your colors don't bleed into each other. The pink sweater I wore the other day, I had a little bit of bleeding out of it, not enough that it changed the color of anything. Like it was perfectly natural for how saturated that yarn is. It was nothing abnormal. But there are other yarns that maybe you're partnering up a pink with like a white, and it bleeds so much that all of a sudden the white is no longer white, it's pink. Right? It's light pink.
Bubblegum pink. Yeah.
So I would rather do that on a small swatch than finish my whole sweater and be heartbroken because it no longer looks good. Right.
Right. It gives you so many options of knowing what it is. And again, with the size, the blocking, obviously the Ruana is more important than the cowl. It's a wearable versus just an accessory. Like just an accessory. A lot of people still will not want to block it. I understand. But I'm telling you, especially if you're using the wool, it feels like
so itchy
nightmare beforehand. Afterwards feels like very lovely.
Yeah.
And that's coming from a wool allergy point. I can feel the difference. Icky. Nice. You want to put it in cold water.
That's just funny. All right, I'm going to answer this question here. So Shirley, when it comes to gloves or mittens or fingerless mitts, you want your mittens typically to be tighter than what your hand is, because you don't want your hand to be floating around like crazy in there, right? So you want your mittens to be snug. And what you're measuring is around your knuckles. So when a size is given to you for mittens or gloves or anything like that, when it says to fit a 7-inch hand, that's the measurement around your knuckles. Okay. Typically you want to choose a size that's right at 7 inches or a little bit smaller, if that's your case. Unless you're somebody who likes it a little bit bigger, then you go a little bit bigger. You have to make that decision for yourself. I'm somebody who goes smaller. I don't like things a little bit bigger. I hate the way my hand is just floating around in there. I don't like it. But that's my 2 cents on that one.
Okay. Last thing with gauge.
Yes.
So you got your row gauge, and then you have your stitch gauge, and then you have your row gauge. When it comes to getting gauge, the stitch gauge is the most important, always. But especially in crochet, because we have tall stitches, your row gauge could be totally different than mine. It happens because of the way that you hold your hook, the way that you're yarning over, how you're stretching out. You could get much longer than I am. It happens all the time, especially if you're a loose crocheter. It's just going to happen. And it stinks, right? Like you got this, but this is way too tall. The correct way of doing it is you got to fix your tension, which sucks. That is years of practice of you're doing something wrong. I don't know how to say that a nice way. It's not nice.
It's because if
It's
you
not
guys
nice
have
when
never
somebody's
really,
telling you that.
like, if you've never looked at the way you crochet, you might not realize that you're pulling your first loop up way too high, that it's no longer the same size as your hook, which means your hook size means nothing in the whole scheme of things, because the whole reason you change hook sizes is to make sure that the size of your loops are all the same. So if you are yarning over and pulling up your first loop and it's way taller than and to the fact that it's that loop itself is no longer the same size as your hook, you're no longer using the hook the way it's meant to be used.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily that it's wrong. It's just that it's not, I hate saying people are wrong. It's
I
just,
do too.
I hate it. It's just something to be aware of. If you are somebody who is struggling getting row gauge on things and you're a crocheter, pay attention to the way you are crocheting. Are you keeping every single loop that you create the same size as your hook? Meaning it's the same circumference as your hook. Every single loop you pull up. If you're not, that's where you're usually having an issue. If your rows are too big, you're usually giving too much slack. If they're too small, chances are after you pull your yarn through a stitch, you're yanking your yarn and you're tightening everything. So now it's no longer the same size as your hook because now you've yanked it and it's smaller. So if your rows are too small, you're yanking your yarn. If they're too big, you're pulling your yarn too much at the start. If that makes any sense.
It does. And with the cowl, I don't usually, like for the Ruana, you can just make less, the Ruana, the part that's not here.
I'm going to put on the cowl. I love this cowl. There's a part of me that is so glad you can't wear wool because that means this is mine and it is like perfect.
So like the bottom part of the Ruana is 3 stripes like the cowl has. But the top part here, which is the main body, this is what you'll be making the swatch out of. You can just make less. In it, we give you different sizes for your height, not for your width, for your height. So if you're like me, where you're like an extra large, but you're short, because I'm real short, I'm going to use the petite length, but the extra large width. So you can just use less. So like if you just can't get the row gauge, you could just do less if you're doing the Ruana. If you're doing the cowl though, that is a triangle. So you can't do less rows because you are decreasing every row. So yours is just going to be taller. If you can't get your tension down, yours is just going to be bigger. Because you can't be like, oh, we'll just crochet it 4 inches less. There's just no way. You have to make it. You got to get the triangle. You got to get it to be a triangle. In this project, it's things. It's just going to be. So if that is the case, then you're making a shawl. I mean, like there's always a different way of looking at problems, right? You're like, what is this going to be enjoyment or not? Am I going to work on this to work on my technique, or am I doing this just to enjoy doing something. If you're here just to enjoy doing something, just make it big and you're making a shawl instead of a cowl. What's wrong with that? I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't care.
Cool.
It's just like when people were asking like how many colors that they absolutely need. I don't know, you can use one if you want. It really, this should be something enjoyable. I'm doing lots of colors. Marley's wearing it. There's lots of colors on it. But if that's not your bag and you just want to do it for the stitches, fine. Like just because like Marley and I will be telling you the way that we prefer it doesn't mean that it's the way you have to do it. The whole point is that you enjoy it. But yeah.
All right, so let's talk to knitters. Stitch gauge and row gauge. Stitch gauge is very important for both, right? Stitch gauge is very important for both. Row gauge is very important for both. But I'm going to let you know for the pullover or the cardigan, your row gauge, it will, like for my yoke right now off the needles looks too short because I know once I block it, it blocks to the correct size. Does that make sense? Like it blocks to where I want it to be. But remember what I said, we're not blocking this one. So when you're making this one, your row gauge is real important because you're making this, right? And it's going to look like it's really tall. But when it gets on your head, that top part spreads out. So it shrinks up the sides. And unless you want it to come up over your ears, you don't want that. So you want this to be taller. I'd rather it be taller than short. I'm going to show this one because it doesn't have the pom-pom at the top. Like that's the top. It's very, very pretty, but it's a quick decrease down. So you don't get like a ton of rows for the crown up here. So this section here, as you're working up, you want to make sure that it can fit over your head. Like I like it down over my ears. You can see here, like, yeah, I have my hair up there, but I'm good. Like it just fits really nice.
So what she's saying is when you're knitting that hat, it's going to look like you're making a cowl. It's going to look so big that it
looks really tall.
Why am I doing this so tall? But all you need to do is stretch it out and it'll shrink and you go, oh, that's why.
Because you don't want to be like, you know what, this looks like it's good enough. And then do your decreases and put it on your head. And it,
and then, but I mean, like, unless you like the little like beanies, if you like the little beanies that are above your ears,
I did not want that. Like, I love this. Can I just tell you how much I just love? I have a blue one here too. That it's really nice. I just love these. So as you're making this, you want to make sure that you are paying attention. I just lost my train of thought. Paying attention to your row gauge. Try and stay on. Again, it's the same thing for the knitters. If you keep your stitches the same size as your needles, you don't overstretch them, you will get the same gauge. So like, I'm not picking on him, but I'm going to point him out because I know that there's a lot of people that do Stephen West patterns. If you do a Stephen West pattern and you use, I think he usually has like size 4s or 5s or 6s. But his gauge, if it was based on the size of the needle, it's a much larger needle gauge. And it's because if you watch him knit, and this, I'm not downing him. This is not a thing against him at all. Please, nobody be like, oh, she was coming. I love him. I think he's a phenomenal. But if you watch him knit, the stitches that he creates are not the same size as the needle he's using. So you have to go, okay, here's his gauge. What needle do I need to use to get that gauge? Which is exactly what we have to do. On my end, I work really hard to keep my stitches the same size as my needle.
Yeah.
It's just a different way of knitting.
It is. And with knitters, I feel like with your row gauge, the material of your needles themselves really makes a difference when you're a beginner.
Yeah. And when we're doing our cables, I will talk a lot about holding your stitches, your cable stitches, so that you don't let them get bigger as you're going to the next stitch. Like we're going to talk a lot about that.
Yeah. And that is 100% really, and it just takes time. Just takes time. Just takes time.
Yeah. And we're going to do little tricks. Like I'm going to show you that I will purl. it's combination purling. I will purl. So instead of going over the needle, I'm going to go under the needle on every purl stitch that comes after a knit stitch to tighten those up. And then on the following rounds, I don't twist the stitch. I just knit it through the back leg. And it's just to use less yarn as you're purling. It's just one of those extra things to help the stitches really stay together. So I'm going to give you tips and tricks and little things that you can use to help your cables look tidier and be more on gauge and stuff. But I wanted to point out, and I put this out in the video too, is as you're working on your hat, like you'll get up to like this point up here and you'll be like, man, that is really tall. What is going on? That's the crown. That's it. Like, that's it. So of course it looks tall, but then when you put it on, all right, okay, it all stretched out. Now it's over. Okay, that's perfect. Like it just, and that's not to say you can't, like you can absolutely make it shorter. You can make it longer. You could do whatever you want. I just wanted you to understand why mine is like that. But when it comes to the sweater, hold on. Oh,
now, and again, we're going to go through all of this in all of the videos. So like, if you're not getting it right now, don't worry about it. It's just, we just wanted to say it again.
But like the sweater, as it comes off the needles, as it goes from here to the armpit, you'll be like, wow, that looks really small. Let's say mine needed to be 10.5 and off the needles, it's 9. Mm-hmm. Like as if your gauge swatch, your blocked gauge swatch with that same size gave you the correct size, then you're going to be fine. It's going to be fine. Mm-hmm. That's the importance of the gauge swatch. I had no fear. I was like, okay, I know this is measuring, I think it was 9.5 or something, but I know when I block it, it's going to be exactly what I want it to. And it was like, it was like, it's no problem.
Yeah. I think
that's the importance of,
I think
and again, you can see
panel of the Ruana grew like an inch in length.
Yeah.
Like it just, it's wild.
You guys see the blocking difference here? Like, look how they're kind of like crunched up together. Like it's almost ribbing, and these are spread out because this has been blocked.
Yeah. I mean, let's be honest. If you want to wear a slinky sweater, go for it.
Oh yeah.
We're not here to judge. We are
go for it.
All for it. Go for it. And remember, that is not the VIP project. Remember the VIP projects we haven't shown yet. That's an additional project. I think a lot of people are having that problem, and we apologize. But we were trying to keep the price down and make the other one a mystery.
Yeah.
A little bit. That is the other project. The VIP is a cardigan.
The other one is a cardigan.
Yeah.
I love that pink. If y'all are into pink at all, like I am, you want to get yourself some of that bashful. Because
Speaking of the yarn, we talked to Hirschner's last week, and they had Mallard was out of stock. The navy, it's back in stock.
Like that one right there, right?
Yeah. Our contact at Hirschner's is amazing, Mary, because we love her so much. But she is like, listen, ladies, because I guess if you don't know Hirschner's, they're online. Well, they used to be a catalog, the original catalog for yarn. Now they're online. They also have a store. Well, the store was like, ooh, we got some wool. So they were like, I'll take some wool. So I
want the store ladies who are amazing. I've met them. I want them to make these with us.
I think they'd have fun. But needless to say, Mary was like, I'll just order more. And we wanted to throw up because we're like, it's not like they can return the balls.
No,
we're like,
it's just you gotta sell them. Pressure. You know what I mean? Like we have, I think I told them before, like I have more patterns coming out with this yarn. But yeah, they were like, we're just going to order more. I was like, okay. Okay.
So, and I looked this morning and she did. Like she already ordered more. It's already, everything's replenished. Great. Wonderful.
Right.
It just makes me sweat.
Yeah.
Like a lot.
So like we have bought out universal yarns of this yarn. Somebody was asking me the other day, they're like, if Hirschner's decides not to sell this anymore, where can we get it? I mean, as long as Universal always carries it, you could get it there. But as of right now, you can't get these colors there because we bought them out of baby Jesus's. So,
but Hirschner's, let's put it this way.
10 points the first person to put what that quote's from. Come on.
At this point, Hirschner's is still buying more. They're going to have it for a while. So you shouldn't
Yes.
worry about, it's definitely not going to be sold out
No.
by the end of this, or
No.
even through December. They're going to have it because Mary keeps buying more and it's stressing me out. Like, I want her
Steel
to stop buying.
magnolias. Lorraine got it. That's right.
Did
Sorry.
I tell you that my mom friends, we were trying to do a book group because like 3 of us love reading books, but the other 2 hate reading books. And so we decided instead to do a movie club. It's not a
Okay.
book group, it's a movie group.
Okay.
Because like I noticed that my friend did not know any of my Steel Magnolias references. And I was like, how? Because she's the same age as us. Like Marley and I are the exact same age, if you didn't know. And so
Well, I'm older than her, and she likes to point that out.
by a few months, whatever. When you have friends, you never know.
Yeah.
But we're the same age. And so I was like, you don't know what I'm talking about? Like, I just was like, what do you mean? What do you mean? Like I describe people.
Like 2 pigs fighting under a blanket.
I
love that movie so much. Now I want to go watch it. Maybe I'll watch it as I'm knitting later on this afternoon.
Yes, Craig, we're both 29. That's exactly
Craig,
right.
I wouldn't want to be 29 again if you paid me. No.
We were just talking this morning how a 29-year-old would be our child. Like
that's like Jeelan. My trainer is 30, and I'm just like, I could be your mom. He's like, no. I said, Jeelan, I'm 48. I could be your mom. If I had you at 18, he goes, yeah, my mom had me at 18. I was like, I could be your mom. Could be your mom.
There you go. Right here.
Like, you're a baby. You're a baby. Anyways.
Donna, yes, hold on.
Pink is my signature color, Muncie. Yes. Love pink.
The DK will work. Yes. I'm assuming you mean the Premier Everyday. I don't know what Premier Basic is, but let's be honest. There's a lot of things I don't know about. But the DK will work. You should have no problem.
Out, just do a swatch with whatever yarn you're going to use. Do a swatch with it and see if you like it. If you like the finished fabric and it's going to measure the way you want it, that she tells you to measure, you're going to like it.
Pink is my signature color.
Pink is my signature color.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. I say that every time I put on pink. I just look so good in pink. And I'm not being egotistical. I just love pink. I feel like it just, like, my whole face just brightens up when I wear pink. I love it.
Yeah. When we talk about Steel Magnolias, I always like I explain, I'm like, oh, I'm Weezer. And they're like, what do you mean? And I'm like, what do you mean? What do I mean? That's who I am. I'm not nice. Like, I don't mean not to be nice, but like, what's the point? Like,
oh my God, that is hilarious because you are.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes, that's who I am. I mean, more towards the one at the end, but still.
Oh my God.
Very much that's
so
it.
funny.
Yeah.
It's your old pal Weezer. Oh my God, that is hilarious.
If now you have to watch the movie. I'm just saying it's one of my favorites. It makes me cry and laugh, everything.
It is good. Brown football helmet. All right. So that is our gauge talk. I mean, did we lose everybody? We have a lot of people here. This is nice.
I'm sorry. And I will say, like, listen, we're going to be putting out the gauge, putting out in like gauge videos. Like, this is just the important parts, because no matter what
we say, we keep getting the same questions.
Well, which is fine. Not everybody watches this. Not everybody catches up with it. But like, if you are in the Marley's Minions and you've heard us say it, go ahead and tell them. Like, this is the whole part of like, well, especially when we get to the actual event, is being a cheerleader of like, listen, this is what I heard, and say it. Like, you now know what we know.
Yep.
So anyway, anything else?
No, I have got to finish making the Flashpoint mittens today to match the Flashpoint hat.
Very exciting.
And as I was looking for my hook that I used, I also found a pair of mittens that were supposed to be for my best friend's birthday last year.
Nice.
And I did not, and her birthday was Saturday.
Oh, good.
So it's literally been a year. So I was like, oh, I'll pull those out. You ever pulled out a pattern? You're like, where am I? Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. So I will tackle those too. And then the gauge stuff. I got all sorts of stuff here. I got stuff everywhere, but I'm excited. I'm excited about my makeup's on. Like that's when you know things are getting real because I get to do the videos and the makeup is on. It is a full-blown conversation with myself, you guys, when I get out of the shower and I'm like choosing clothes because I'm like, okay, do I put on sweats and a t-shirt? Do I put on like a real shirt? Or like, do I have to take pictures of myself? Okay, if I take pictures of myself, do I have to put on makeup? Yeah, you got to put on makeup. Okay, let's go put on makeup. Like I have to, like I talk myself through every process of the whole thing because it just takes a long time. It just takes a long time.
Yeah.
It just takes a long time. It's okay though. I love it. But in other news, same news, other news, the VIP sales are doing great. Everybody's what I love the most is when people are like, I don't know if I should get VIP or not. Everybody's get VIP. Just don't even, why are you asking? Just get VIP. I laugh so hard when they're like, yeah, the minute VIP's there, I'm like, sold. That's it. That's what I want. That's what I want. I also have a lot of people signed up for the free version, which is exciting because to me, I often think about the free version of it's people's like it's their introduction to the way that we work.
Yeah.
And so I'm hoping that they like it enough that they'll come back again. And then maybe next time they'll upgrade and do all the things. It's very exciting. And then I heard today, I got an email from somebody who said that she was so excited because she has talked her sister and her mom into doing this with her over Thanksgiving. So she was asking me, she's like, okay, on the first day, I know it's like on Thanksgiving, you're going to give us a little bit, like, how much are we doing? Because we're going to do Black Friday shopping. And, could we bring this with us? I was like, this is adorable. It was just exciting because I'm like, yeah, you could work on stuff if you want. I used to take my stuff with me Black Friday shopping all the time.
Yeah.
I don't do it anymore. I just stay at home and knit. But it was just very exciting. So I was like, I wonder if there are more people out there that are like that are like, oh, maybe I could get my friend to do this with me, or my sister, or my aunt, or my grandma, or what I mean? Because you just never know. We get that a lot during game day, But for Thanksgiving, I don't know. It's exciting. I'm very excited about all of it. We're still 2 weeks out. Can you believe we've already announced it and we're only 2 weeks out? Like usually we announce it, it's a week away. So
yeah, I know. It's weird for us.
I'm just like, all right, this is cool. I don't know. It's very exciting. And I'm very excited. All of you guys are excited, which is awesome. I do have a free pattern coming out this week. I have 2 patterns. They're older patterns that have been out before, and they're just going to be published for free this week. So stay tuned for that. They are stockings. They're 2 stockings, a knit stocking and a crochet stocking. So we will have some more free patterns coming out, just like if you're jonesing to make something else, fun stuff going on. Yeah, it's cool. I mean, look, everybody's just like, yeah, VIP all the way. You can tell the people who are just like constant VIPers. I love it when I go and I look up people, like the different members. What does that say? But not snakes.
Vipers. It looks like vipers.
Got it. I'm with it now. Like I'll look up people's member names and stuff in there, and I'll see everything that's in their accounts. And there are some people, they literally own everything. And I'm like, that is so cool.
Yeah,
that is so cool. Like they're the OGs, because some things have not been released since they were originally released. Like they're like all the stash busting quickies.
There's a lot out there that you can't get anymore. Yeah.
It's cool. A lot of people are excited. Yarn is starting to get delivered. People are sharing that on the Marley's Minions by Crafty community. So make sure you're part of that. We would love to have you over there seeing all the stuff. And then, yeah, it's pretty darn exciting. Make sure y'all leave comments, smash that like button, do all the things. I don't know. I think that's it. Did I tell you that Josiah said this is the best hat I've ever made?
Yes.
When I finished it, I was like, oh, thanks, buddy.
Yeah, it's his favorite. He
does. He loves it so much. All right. I think that's it from us. Are there any other questions while you have us here? Any other questions? I went and got myself a smoothie today.
Nice little treat after working out.
Yes.
Good.
Yes. It was today's workout. Diane and I both were there, and I was like complaining about my glute, essentially. Like, it's my glute, my hamstring. I was like, this is like not painful, but I'm like, I can't do these movements. Like, I'm so tight. And then she was complaining about like her back shoulder blade area. And so G was like, okay, ladies, we're going to do a lot of stretching today. And I'm like, yeah, today we're old. We are definitely old today. Like,
mobility is a thing.
We had to do.
Yeah.
We got through it. So we're good. All is good. Is it possible to make a Christmas ornament make-along? Elise Walker. So you have some ornaments, don't you, in Jolly Holiday? So we have some ornaments coming up in Jolly Holiday that it wouldn't be like an official make-along, but we could, like, you never know. You could be like, get Jolly Holiday and then make some ornaments. I know I have some fun ornament stuff going. So yeah, that would be good. What is this? I've got nothing. I would love to know what you find, though.
Yeah.
Anybody have any advice for Craig?
Heading to Spain.
Awesome. Are you going to see the soccer? Is that what you're going for, Craig? I think that's what you're going for. That's cool. Is there a link for Hirschner's? Yes. Give me just one moment, and I will give you my affiliate link. And it is also in the supply list. You want to talk about the supply list? Talk about the yarn in the supply list one more time, about the colors.
Okay. Yes. So the whole problem with crocheting is colors, because you need lots of colors. And the colors that are on the website don't always look like the colors in person. So that's why last week we went through all the colors so you could see them on the screen. But the supply list, what we did is we made sure that we color corrected so they look like what they do in person. So if you're wondering about a color and you're not like, is this really this green or is this really this red? Check out the supply list. So when you sign up, you will get the supply list. It's a PDF. And if you scroll down, the third and fourth page are just colors. They show all of the colors in all of my swatches. So you can see like the difference in the colors. It's very important to check it out. If you're concerned about a color, because like my biggest one on there, my biggest concern is that there's a color called eggplant and is 100% brown. 100%. I don't know of an eggplant that's brown, but it's brown. It's like walnut brown. It's a pretty color, but it's not eggplant. Not purple. No purple. No. There's no purple hues. It's brown. So that's those little things I'm always like with the colors. I'm like, check out the supply list. Check out.
You could also watch the show we did on Tuesday. Was it Tuesday or Wednesday?
Yeah.
I don't know. Whenever we did it, but we held up different colors, and you can also see like on screen how it looks one way with me and a different way with Robin. Like,
yes,
it's real important that you look. Yeah. I think that's it. I think that's all the questions. All right. Well, we are here for you guys. If you have any other questions over on the Marley's Minions group, I'm posting a lot of stuff on Instagram and on Facebook. I told you about the email that Josiah sent out on Sunday. I put all of the information in the video description here too. So if you are going to do this with a friend, have the friend signed up with your coupon code, which just allows you to get a free pattern. And then if you get 3 friends, you will get 3 free patterns and a free available item from the Marley Birdhouse. You could get a free camp color work if you wanted. You whatever you want to do, because we want to say thank you for helping spread the word. All right. I don't know why that is popping up there still. Okay. All right, everybody. That's it from us.
Bye, everybody.
Hold on. What's Julia saying here? What's the issue, Julia?
Before we...
Yeah. The crochet one link is the worst. Yeah, it's all worsted.
The wool is worsted.
The wool
is
just
worsted. If you're doing the acrylic, use the DK.
Yes.
There's no DK for the wool. The wool is what we recommend.
It's all universal deluxe worsted. The important thing here is worsted weight is not worsted weight is not worsted weight. So like a super saver worsted weight is not the same as deluxe universal worsted weight. They will look different. So the deluxe universal worsted weight is closer to the premier DK, everyday DK. It's closer to that than if you went worsted. That's why she's saying the DK.
Yeah.
Got it?
Just if you're substituting.
If you're substituting.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah. All right, cool. All right. Crisis averted. Okay. All right. Bye, guys.
Live your life within the moment. And don't go wait until the morning. You never know when it is over. All that I know is we'll get older. So let us dance this night away.